Hey everyone, welcome to Fairgrounds Live Immersive Conversations. In this weekly series, we sit down with a Fairgrounds collaborator to talk about themselves, their work, and to give you an inside look at Fairgrounds St. Pete. If you're new to Fairgrounds, we're a soon-to-open 15,000 square foot immersive arts and technology exhibit opening right here in St. Petersburg, Florida. I'm Olivia, the Director of Communications and Artist Relations here at Fairgrounds. I have the absolute pleasure of getting to work with our collaborators and share with the community about this really exciting project. After this conversation, I invite you to visit our website and our blog because there you're going to be able to see even more photos of what we're going to talk about tonight. Tonight I have the absolute pleasure of introducing you to a very special person to us here at Fairgrounds. I am going to be talking to Iona Paris. She is a seashell queen and mermaid queen, and y'all are just in for a treat. Like, I can't even tell you. The energy in this room is just off the chain. Iona for Fairgrounds has created some seashell crowns as well as some jeweled seashells. You'll be able to see those when you come to Fairgrounds when we open at the Fairgrounds Mermaid Dressing Room. That's right, folks. We're going to have a mermaid dressing room, fully immersive, and there you'll be able to see her work. But before we dive into tonight's very exciting conversation, let me tell you just a little bit about Iona Paris. And I wrote some things down, but I'm not going to read all of it because I want folks to be very surprised to learn about you.
Okay.
A veteran of the United States Air Force, Caribbean American seashell artist Iona Paris began her journey in 2009. Back then, it was when she was back from deployment from Kuwait. Since starting her practice, many people have enjoyed her seashell artwork, including in fashion shows, movies, and many TV stars. We are just so excited to dive in. Welcome to the show, Iona Paris.
Thank you so much. You always treat me like I'm Beyonce.
You are though. You are. You're just such a vibe.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Honestly, it's so good to be here.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
So let's kick this off with something very special to you, your name. So something I did not share, your official name, your legal name is
Yes.
Tia Lewis.
Yes, that is my legal government name.
Your government name. And you changed your name for your art practice,
Yes.
Iona Paris.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. It's named after someone very special. Tell us about them and how you decided to change your name.
So the name actually came from my late grandmother, my mother's mother. I actually never got to meet her. Her name is Princess Iona Paris. And so I thought that was such like a beautiful name when I found out. She was such an extravagant woman. Everyone, my grandfather used to tell me about her. My other family members used to tell me about it. That she was so extravagant. She loved the ocean. She loved the beach. She loved seashells. You know, it just was fitting to me. So that's where I came up with the name Iona.
Oh my gosh, what
Yes.
a great homage. And speaking of family, your mom is actually here. Hello, June. If y'all could see, she's another mermaid queen and is just, like, I am inspired. So tell us about your mom and your relationship with her, how her inspiration fuels you.
Yes, well, my mom is my best friend. She is my shell buddy. She's actually always with me when I'm picking up seashells. She's there to help carry the heavy loads. Her back hurts and my back hurts. You know, we're walking miles and miles looking for seashells and everything like that to create the next best thing. She's always motivated me since I was born. She's always been there to motivate me, saying I can do anything I want. So this was no different when I got into being an artist. So, you know, she's my biggest supporter. She's always there to help consult on what looks good, what doesn't look good. She's really great at color theory. And so, you know, it just made sense, you know, to, you know, have her involved and everything like that. She loves to dress up with me too as a mermaid as well, so it's super fun.
That's amazing. Oh, let me know if you're looking for a third person because I will dress up.
Yes,
with the
you
two
know
of
what? We always need more seashell queens. Come on, more seashell queens.
So amazing, and that's such a beautiful metaphor for like moms, right? Like they're just always carrying us and you know in our lives, and it's such a heavy load, and
Yes.
it's just such a beautiful beautiful relationship to see a mom, empowering their daughter in such a beautiful way. So thank you, Mom, and thank you to all, creative and artist moms out there who are just encouraging and supporting even when, not much is happening. So we're so appreciative.
Yeah.
And of course, we have to talk about what's here.
Okay.
Let's just kick it off a little bit with, speaking of seashells, some of the works that you created for Fairgrounds Mermaid's Dressing Room.
Okay, cool. So I will talk about this one in particular. This one is called Caribbean Queen. It's actually supposed to be representing my Caribbean culture. I am Guyanese America from Guyana. Well, I'm not from Guyana. My parents are from Guyana, and my grandfather is from Barbados. And so we have this thing called Carnival, and it's just a celebration of freedom. People dress with less in mind, but it's just all about freedom, color, you're just having fun, there's music, you're dancing, feathers, crowns, it's just wonderful. And so when I was creating it, and when I was thinking about how I was going to create this crown, I definitely wanted to have the feathers to represent, that Caribbean flavor and everything like that, as well as the big jewels, because we always like to have jewels just to show and everything, to be very, how do you call it? Showy.
Showy.
So, there you go. So that's what I was thinking about when I was creating the crown. When it came to the actual jeweled seashells, I had because we were governed by the British, I'm obsessed with royalty, Queen Elizabeth, stuff like that. So I definitely wanted to keep it simple but elegant. So, I came up with a simple color, a single color, but with a nice just jewel on there. And so it's just a nice elegant jewel.
It is so elegant. And honestly, I think that's the same vibe that I get from that piece. It's just it's very simple, but it's very elegant. And tell us about the red crown as well.
Oh, okay. So the red crown, ladies in red, that one is my power crown. That one I created because, first of all, when I would say this, because I have to give props to my mom, because she was actually the one who came up with the red idea. She painted them and everything like that, and I just placed them, put them together, and put the jewels on there. But, that one was supposed to just represent fierce and dominance. And so that's what I was thinking when I was creating the crown like that. So fierce mermaid, fierce dominance.
Oh,
yeah.
Love that.
So, yeah.
Absolutely love that. And something that, when you dropped off these pieces to us, something that Steffi Adamo and I, our marketing consultant, were talking about, just how your crowns are not only externally beautiful for the outside world. It's not just for everybody to see. The inside of the crown itself is so adorned, it's almost like it has two sides to it. And I think what our conversation essentially was that when you're putting on this crown, it's not just for others, it's also for yourself.
Yes.
And it's almost like this is a way of life, and if I feel good,
yes,
then I'm glad y'all are enjoying this, but this is more for me. What are
your
thoughts? What are your thoughts about that?
You hit it right there on the nail, because at the same time, you want it to be, whenever I'm making something, I want it to be a finished product, especially if someone's getting it, but at the same time, I want people to feel beautiful on the inside as well. So if everything all around looks good, I want it to be like a 360, so everything looking good and you feeling good as well when you're wearing it. When you're wearing a crown, you shouldn't be shy. You have to be excited. You gotta be, you gotta turn into a whole different person. You gotta be the seashell queen or king that you are, So,
yes, give it up for a seashell king. Love that. And then, so even just a little bit ago, you self-identified as an artist, which is just so cool.
Yeah.
Tell us about, you're a veteran of the United States Air Force of 8 years.
Yes.
Tell us about the journey of becoming an artist, a self-identified artist, a seashell queen. When you think of the Air Force, you don't necessarily think of glitter and feathers.
No.
So tell us about that.
Well, it's funny because, you're right. When I was in the military, when I was in the Air Force, I definitely didn't have that side. When I first joined, it was more so very militant, very conformative. Everyone dresses the same, your nail polish the same, but there was little things I could do, like, I'd always have my nails done. I'd always do certain things to still keep me feeling like very feminine, when it was actually, the funny part was, it was actually when I was stationed in Las Vegas, and I actually met Kim Kardashian. I was obsessed with Kim Kardashian, especially back then. I was because she was so different than what I was like living. Like she lived like a glamorous lifestyle, and I was like always in military uniform. Which I mean, I didn't mind back then because it saved me money on, buying a million outfits like I have to do now. But but back then I was just so like I loved her lifestyle. So meeting her, she was like extremely sweet. And she actually was very fabulous. She had like all these jewels and everything on and everything like that. And I was like, oh my God, I want to be you so bad. So from then on, I started like trying to kind of emulate her a little bit, She was very colorful. I felt like her personality was colorful. But then I got started into, when I came back from my first deployment from Kuwait, I got PTSD. And, I was looking for a way to express myself creatively. And so, I actually saw some seashells I had previously gotten from Jacksonville, traveling with some friends from Jacksonville, picking up some seashells. And I had some nail polish. I just had some nail polish on my dresser, and I was just like, why don't I paint these seashells? It was just supposed to be an outlet, It wasn't even supposed to be what it is now, but I love what it is now. But, I definitely didn't classify myself as an artist. I thought it was like more of my secret, like it was a secret thing. I didn't want to tell people I work with because, they're about the military. I'm supposed to be about the military. I'm not thinking you're supposed to have this, creative side to myself and everything like that. So it took me a while to even say like, yeah, I'm an artist, So, that's what
has it been how has it been now being a full-time artist? Are you connected to any people back in the military?
Yeah, you know what the funny thing is, I thought I'd get made fun of for doing art, when I was doing art back then. And it's funny because the military friends that I still am connected with, they look at my artwork now, they're like, you did art, oh, you do art now. And they're like, you do great art. And I'm like, well, I was doing it back then. They're like, how come you didn't say anything? I'm like, I didn't think you would understand, So, I think my own insecurities got in the way, So, it is what it is.
And just thinking about you, that, like, what advice, if you could go back then to that Iona Paris at that time, like, what advice would you give her?
Ooh, you know what, to be honest with you, I would say care less about what other people think about you and be yourself, because what I've learned as becoming like a seashell queen and being Iona Paris and being who I am is I've learned that confidence is the sexiest thing you could ever have had, If I had cared less of thinking, oh, what is this person going to think? What is that person going to think? I could have already broken loose and everything like that. Now, life is a journey, and with age comes, more self-awareness and everything like that. So, I'm glad of the person I've become. I wish I knew back then, like, don't be so hard on yourself, You have time. You're good. Be who you want to be. Be creative. Be exciting, So I would have told myself stuff like that.
I love that. And you're telling us now, and we are all receiving it. I know that everyone watching is just like, yes, thank you. Because it's so true. I think, like, we lack, that ability to give ourselves permission to be our full selves. Like, am I going to be judged? Is it going to be okay? Like, what are people going to think? Like, my coworkers know me as this. What if they find out that I, like, want to wear, like a seashell crown? Like, and it's actually super empowering to when you see people in your life kind of break free and be more of themselves. So it's amazing work that you're doing, It's not just the seashells. There's so much more in your message.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. And then, so speaking of artists, what are some artists that you're gravitated to and that you're, like, super inspired by?
Well, you know what? The funny thing is, like, I would say, I don't know if you classify her as an artist, but Kim Kardashian, that was, like, the first person who really inspired me to, like, break out of my shell and be, like, a glamorous, feminine woman that I am. But also, there is another seashell. She makes, she makes seashell crowns. Her name is Chelsea. She's from Australia. And she's the reason why I actually even started making seashell crowns now. Her seashell crowns are beautiful and extravagant as well. She made this really beautiful Harry Potter seashell crown. I was like mind blown, and I was like, oh my God, I want to make seashell crowns too. And it was really just for myself. I didn't even think about selling them until people were like, hey, I want to buy that crown, you know? So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I'll be selling seashell crowns, but I'll make my own too as well. So, you know, and you know what? I gotta give a shout out to all the mermaids, other mermaids of the world. Honestly, you guys being colorful and who you guys are, and like, you know, with your mermaid tails, or even if you don't wear a mermaid tail, like, I love it. You know, all of that gives me inspiration, honestly.
I love that.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the mer people out there.
You know?
Like Fairgrounds, we will be celebrating mer people of all kinds.
Yes.
Like, we will come, and I think that's what's so special not only about Florida culture, but mer culture is
Yeah.
that, you know, like, it's just so beautiful. It's a combination of, like, you know, earth and water, and
Yeah.
celebrating nature, but
Yeah.
also celebrating your uniqueness,
Yeah.
and celebrating a lore that maybe many people don't know about.
That's
There's
true.
a whole culture there, so
Yeah.
we're excited that you're a part of it and part of that narrative.
Well, I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm excited about that.
So speaking of seashells,
Yes.
let's talk about this millionaire conch. It's also on our website. I'm seeing it today for the first time in person, and I literally couldn't even. I got teary-eyed. It's so beautiful. Tell us about it and your process.
Okay, so this seashell is very special to me. It actually took me months. I believe a little more than 6 months to even make it, just because every single time I was making it, I had to think about, okay, what comes next? What comes next? That was my process when it came to making these stuff. But like a lot of times, okay, there's a base, and so I need to make a base, so I need to think about the base. I'm not really good at sketching. I don't have a formal education in art, so sketching doesn't come natural to me. So it's like sketching in my head. So everything I do, it's like, okay, everything was intentional. So every piece of jewel in there was intentional. Why I put that over here, why I put this over here, they're all intentional. So, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so speaking of seashells, and tell us about going to the beach to pick these out. Like, what is that process like? What are beaches that we need to be going to? Like, give us the inside scoop. I'm a creep trip habit. I will tell everybody I will go to the same beach, the same location, same sunset. Like, that's just who I am, but I am happy to expand my horizons.
Listen, you know what? I tell people, I'm like, if you find a beach that you love, I mean, go to it. It depends on what you're going for. A lot of times, people are not seashell obsessed like I am. So I may not recommend that beach, because I'm like, okay, are you going to relax, or are you going to find seashells? You know, if you're going to relax, I love Anna Marie Island. You know, that's probably my favorite beach to relax. They have a nice place with ice cream cone that's like to die for. I mean, I'm just saying. Okay, but if you're going to pick up seashells, I would say the number one beach in Florida to go pick up seashells would be Sanibel Island. That one is in the Fort Myers area. People from all over the world actually go there to find like really unique, special seashells. So that one, as well as there is Kalidesi Island. That's the next best one. You actually have to get there by ferry off of Honeymoon Island. It's another place where I've gotten loads of wonderful, unique looking seashells. And then there's Fort DeSoto as well, which is right here in St. Petersburg. You know. Do you go to that beach?
That's my favorite.
Is that one? I do love it.
It is. I love
Listen,
Fort
I'm
DeSoto.
new to Fort DeSoto Beach, but honestly, I've found some wonderful seashells at Fort DeSoto Beach.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So,
yes.
so I can
Yeah.
I can look in my area and still
Yeah.
find some.
Yes, you can.
Love that.
Yeah.
You know, like, I will completely be honest with everybody. I did not know like much about seashells, and your Instagram is so fire, and I have learned so many things about seashells.
Yeah.
So please educate us
Yeah.
about seashells.
Well, you know what? I will say this. I'll tell you a funny story. My sister was telling me the other day that she's like, I didn't know that there was actually something living in that seashell before. And it almost freaked her out a little bit. She's like, so something was alive in that seashell? I'm like, yeah, you didn't know? She's like, no. And I was so oblivious to that. There are people out there who don't know that, you know? But, you know, seashells are basically a protective barrier for sea animals of the ocean, you know? So that's what the seashells are, or the shell is for, and everything like that. Now, different animals will grow their own different type of unique seashell, you know? So, you know, this one was a conch, and there was a sea snail, basically a mollusk, that's a technical term to it, that was underneath that seashell, or made that seashell and everything like that from birth. So, you know, so that's it.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. And then how many shells, like variety of shells, are there would you say?
Okay, so known, there are 70 to 100,000 known seashells. Now, there are many unknown seashells that people find very often. So, I mean, when it comes to seashells, I mean, there's millions, almost probably billions of seashells out there in the world, but, known species where it's just, it's identified already would be 70 to 120,000.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's like totally incredible. And I'm wearing some today. Do you know the name of these?
That is a calico scallop shell.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Thank you for educating me
Yes,
on
you
this.
find them on the Gulf of Mexico or in the Caribbean. So, yes.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
they make me so happy wearing them.
Yay,
Thank
I'm
you.
glad.
Yes, I love that.
You look very beautiful.
Thank you. I feel like a queen.
You are.
So tell us,
Uh-huh.
what is your favorite shell? We
Okay,
need to
so
know.
my favorite shell is this shell. It's called the. What? You know what? I every
Guys, we
single
get
time.
nervous, okay?
Well,
Like, we are live.
Nautilus shell. It's a pearl iridescent shell. It's a part of the squid octopus family, actually. And so it's the only one that actually grows its own protective layer shell. So, yeah.
It's so beautiful.
Yes.
And so I truly thought that was like painted.
No,
It's so stunning, like in the light, like it's iridescent.
something
and-
actually lived in there.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah.
Like nature as inspiration, I think
Yes.
at Fairgrounds is such a huge part of what we do,
Yeah.
and like elevating the local, not only people culture, but like the nature
Yeah.
in this area, and we have
Yeah.
to preserve it.
Yeah, and you know what? This is art. This is art itself. Not colored. No one did anything to it. It's art. So.
Love that.
And so remember, you're art as well too. I mean, if that could be art, you're art. So
Love that we are art
you're
people.
art.
Oh, so good. Speaking of art, you were in several fashion weeks, which is so crazy cool.
Yes.
Tell us about the different fashion
Okay.
weeks you were in, and like, what's that for? Like, do you just get a call one day, like, hey, do you want to be in Fashion Week? Like, what is that?
No, actually, okay. So I was in Miami Fashion Week, or I should say, my seashell jewelry was in Miami Fashion Week, Tampa Fashion Week, and New York Fashion Week. I am blessed to have a mother who hosts a lot of things. She actually has her own YouTube page and everything like that. June Ann Lewis Show, if you guys want to go on.
Wait, hold on. What is it called?
June Ann Lewis Show, TV show. Is it June Ann Lewis Show, right?
Yeah, really sure.
June Ann Lewis Show.
Yes.
Is it .com?
.com.
.com. Go on there. So, a lot of people ask her to host a lot of different things. So she was hosting for Bella Fashion Show. And so they were in Miami, Tampa, and New York. And they asked me to use my jewelry in each show. And so it was just like probably the coolest thing. I mean, I'm still pinching myself. I still sometimes look at the New York Fashion Week lanyard that I have that says like New York Fashion Week. I'm like, this was me, So that was awesome. So
That is
yeah.
so awesome.
Yeah.
And do you have like pictures of the models wearing your
Yes,
work?
I have the pictures of the models wearing my work as well as them going down the runway. I mean, it's a real blessing, honestly, when things like that happen and fall into your lap and it's like, oh my gosh, you can't pass it up and you just go with it. When I tell people just to go with it, like honestly, if things are happening, just go with it and keep the momentum going.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
You're such a yes person, Iona, which I love so much about you.
Thank
You're
you.
just always like, yeah, opportunity. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, we'll do that.
Yes.
Absolutely. Like,
You gotta be.
I think, yeah.
Life can be short, Oh, life is short,
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
take all the top opportunities you can,
Mhm.
If you want to do it, do it.
Mhm.
Okay.
And yes. And just going back a little bit, you mentioned it briefly about PTSD, and mental health. Tell us about how art has kind of become a form of therapy for you.
Well, okay, so how I would say art has become a form of therapy. When I was actually first started actually doing shell art, I didn't even, like I said, I didn't view it as art. It was just a form of, it was like an outlet to me. As I got older, becoming more self-aware, that's when I started realizing that this was actually therapeutic when because I wasn't thinking about the stresses of life. I wasn't thinking about the bills I had to pay, the things I have to do at work or anything like that. I was just focused. And it's very rare. It was one of the only times I'm actually really, really hyper focused on something I'm doing, you know. And so that's when I was like, oh wow, like this is what I need, you know. It's the same feeling I get when I go seashelling. I'm hyper focused on finding a great seashell, you know. That's how I knew I was like in love with what I'm doing, you know. So yeah.
Those moments of flow, right, where you're just like in the zone,
Yes.
nothing else matters.
Yeah.
You forget life, you forget everything, and
Yep.
you're just like, that must be how you know that you love to do something.
Yeah, you know. So and that's where it started,
Wow.
honestly.
That is so cool.
Mhm.
I'm excited, you know, like I've seen people beachcombing, but
Yeah.
I'm excited to go to the beach and start like
Yeah.
searching.
But you know what? Do something with it. You know, I tell people, I'm like, you know, you can have it on your counter, like how I had it on my counter, and maybe one day you'll look at it and you'll be like, you'll be addicted too. You'll be like, I need to do something with this, you know?
I love
So
that.
yeah.
It's like there's materials in your backyard to make art, so like why not?
There is material. You know, I cut down some of my tree the other day, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna use this wood for something. You know?
Totally love it. You're such
Yeah.
an artist. Like that is totally an artist. You're like trash. That's art.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah, honestly, yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Gotta be resourceful.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
And I know that all of us are so curious about artists behind the scenes. Like
Mhm.
what goes on in like people's studios and all of that. What is your ideal day that you're like you just love making artwork on that specific day? Tell us about your workshop and just all of it. We want to know.
Okay, so when it comes to an ideal day, you know what the funny thing is, it's never really a sunny day when I want to make art. Actually, it's usually always after maybe 2 p.m. Anything beforehand, I probably won't come up with something cool. It's after 2 p.m. and I like to go on until like more than maybe 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, because I have to get everything out of my head. Because in the morning I'll start thinking of ideas, and then it's like a builds up, and then it's like putting everything out on the seashell, you know. So that's usually my creative process. Now, is there a particular day? No, but I mean, usually it's not sunny days because I like to be out. I like to go to the beach or something. That's when I should be enjoying the day.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, you should be out in the world, showing off your work, and enjoying the beach.
Enjoying nature,
and
you know.
exactly.
So YOLO. So, yeah.
Love that. Do you
Yeah.
have any favorite tools that you use to make your work?
Yes. Oh my gosh, my number one favorite tool, because a lot of people actually think it's a drill, because I'm always drilling holes in something like an earring or whatever. But yep, there you go. But it's actually my hot glue gun. That one, my handy dandy hot glue gun. I use that. I use Gorilla Glue glue sticks for the hot glue gun, and that's like my favorite thing. Shout out to Gorilla Glue, you know. So, but I would say glue gun is my favorite tool to use. If you're trying not to get burned, please wear rubber gloves. That's going to be very helpful for you. So.
Me and my glue gun have a very complicated relationship.
I know, right?
It's like I love it so much, but it doesn't always love me back, and it hurts me more than helps me sometimes.
Right.
So
I've got burned plenty of times, and I had to learn. The other day actually, I got burned because I did something stupid, and I wasn't paying attention, but the glue actually fell on my foot, like the hot glue fell on my foot, and it was the worst feeling in the world. And I was like, I still love you. I'll still use you tomorrow. Right now I need a break. But
that's how it is. It's hashtag complicated. I totally get it. As we're winding down, Iona, something interesting about you is that even though you might not seem it, you're actually a really private person.
I'm actually really shy too.
Which is what you're talking about.
It's mind blowing, right? No, when people first meet me, they always when people are super, because a lot of people sometimes when they meet me, they're super excited, like, oh my god, I've seen your Instagram or whatever. Not to say that everyone comes up to me like that, but when people are first meeting me, I'm very introverted, oh my god, hi, and I feel like I'm shrinking, I'm like, oh my god, it's a lot, but and I think it has a lot to do with my anxiety issues from PTSD, but at the same time, I try to combat that too, because I'm like, you have to be nice. I want to be people. I'm very approachable. I'm very nice. I'm very approachable. So I would never be rude to anyone. But a lot of times people will be like, oh, let's hang out, let's do this, I'm like, I'm like, I get very nervous and scared and everything like that, but once I get to know you, I pretty much open up, like, I've seen you how many times, I feel like, this is me in the other room.
Totally. You
So,
just
yeah.
know yourself.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, a lot of people can relate, but I think what we just respect and love so much about you is that you're willing to put yourself out there, and like somebody might say something about your hair or your crown or something about you, and you're like welcoming in those conversations, which I think that's part of it, right?
Yeah, you know what? And I was telling someone that the other day because they were like, "What? How do you feel when you get a negative comment or something, or someone says something negative?" I'm like, "Well, you just respond. I mean, you may not like it, but at the same time, you don't have to be rude about it." And I mean, I think a lot of times when you combat, bad comments or anything, you kill them with kindness. My mom always told me to kill them with kindness, and it never has failed me yet. To be honest with you.
Moms come in
I'm
with those
just
like that
saying.
wisdom. You know what I mean? Like it's
I'm
just
saying
like,
because then people end up they're like, oh my god, I actually really like you, and I'm like, see, give me a chance.
yeah, I love that. It's like you just get to know me.
Yeah.
And then as so we have only a couple questions left. I know that everybody's having a blast with us, but Iona has things she's got to do. For all the queens and kings out there, what is like the main beauty tip that you have to give us?
Ooh, a main beauty tip. Okay, so if I'm telling it to the kings and queens, I would say, let me give you three. Okay.
Ooh, go miss.
Okay, so sunscreen. Always wear sunscreen. I mean, we live in Florida, and if you live in Florida too, it's hot. I'm always outside, so I'll just even speak on myself. A lot of people don't know that before I was a seashell queen, I actually was an esthetician, so a skincare specialist as well. So, we had to learn, okay, sunscreen is like your best friend. Skin cancer is a very real thing, so we want to make sure that you protect yourself and protect your skin as well. A next fact would be, which one would I say? Okay, so I would say start your anti-aging process early. Always wear. I started when I was in my 20s. I mean, if you look at my mom's skin, I mean, it's flawless, okay? It's better than a baby's bottom. I'm just saying. So, she took care of her skin since she was in her 20s. She used to wear anti-aging stuff and everything. You're never too young to start the anti-aging process, because when you're older and you start getting wrinkles, it's not too late, but it's almost like, now you have to get surgery and everything like that. So start it early, so you can protect your skin. And then the third one is always add a pop of color. Oh my gosh. So I like to speak with my eyes, So with my thing is I like to wear a nice eyeshadow. It's depending on my mood. I like to go depending on my mood. But, I like pop of color and everything like that. I feel like even it makes people's day, if they see me wearing purple, they see me wearing pink. Purple's my favorite color, by the way. But if they see me wearing a pink or purple or fuchsia or a blue or whatever, if I'm wearing blue, usually that's not the day, for me. But, I like greens as well. I'm wearing green today, so, I just add some color to your eye palette. Come on.
Love that. And then even to your wardrobe,
yes.
You know
what? To your wardrobe, to your lip. There's nothing wrong with a simple red lip. Now that we're wearing masks, it's hard to see the lips, so, you can stick to the eyes, stick to the clothes,
Yeah,
add some
absolutely.
color.
You heard it here, people. Stick to color. That is some advice that Fairgrounds would get behind. Yes, with the color. And then, what's next for Iona Paris? After Fairgrounds, you're going to be at Fairgrounds. That's huge. But
Yes.
what's next after that?
Yes, okay, so I have a couple things coming up. I'm starting my YouTube channel. Yes, I'm going to be teaching people, how to do some of the stuff that they see I have, like a necklace, or, how I'm drilling my holes into my earrings or whatever. Just certain things, people ask me a lot of questions, how to clean stuff, just talking about my experiences. Also, my mom and I are going to be traveling to every beach in Florida to find out what's the best beaches to find seashells and everything like that. So that's something. I'm in 2 art shows as well. So I'll be putting the dates and where they're going to be posted on my website as well. Whew, let me see. There's more. I know there's more because I remember I had a lot to say. You know what? Stay tuned.
That is so
Stay
cool.
tuned.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You stay tuned because Iona is You're gonna see her everywhere,
Yes.
and we are so excited.
Yeah.
So where can people follow you if they want to follow you on Instagram, your website? Where should they find you?
Okay, so right now the best place to follow me is on Instagram. It's gonna be however you put in for IG. Iona Paris, a Seashell Queen. So IONPARRIS, Seashell Queen. So, one word all together, and that's the best place to follow me. Right now, I will be putting myself on different platforms, so stay tuned for that as well.
Amazing.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Iona. We are like such huge fans. We
Yay.
adore you. We've been so looking forward to, having your work at Fairgrounds
I
and
appreciate
this
that.
interview, just all of it. You are such a vibe. It's
Oh
just
my
like
gosh.
the energy that you exude.
Mermaid vibe, mermaid
Yes, Mermaid Queen, Seashell Queen, guys.
vibe.
We're so honored that
Yes.
you're collaborating with us. So thank you
I
so much.
appreciate you guys having me. I'm so excited to be a part of this.
So wonderful.
Yes.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning into this week's Immersive Conversations. Again, I invite you to visit our website, fairgrounds.art/blog, and there you'll see images of more of the works that Iona has created for Fairgrounds. And very exciting, Iona will be selling some of her works at the Fairgrounds souvenir shop, so stay very tuned for that. And again, I'm so grateful to the Fairgrounds team. We have Stephanie Adamo here and our marketing team. We have Liv Scully, our education manager. We have Mikkel Manton, our chief creative technology officer. And our whole production team and the whole team watching live. We're so grateful for your support. Thank you to June, Mom, watching live. Couldn't do it without our moms. And yeah, just stay tuned for next week. We're really excited. We're so grateful for the support. Thank you, everyone. Bye.